All right, so real quick this morning, we're gonna go over how to install a window. We already framed our window opening. Our window opening is our rough opening. We have a rough opening, and then we have our window is gonna have a tip-to-tip measurement, which is the exact measurement from outside to outside on the top and the bottom and side to side. This case, it's 23.5 by 23.5. This is our inside. This is our outside. Our tip to tip is 23.5 by 23.5. So our manufacturer gave us a rough opening of 24 inches by 24 inches. So we follow that. So real quick, I'm gonna go over which way we're gonna install it. So in this case, this is a rolling window. So if we were to install it like this, it's not gonna work because this doesn't have the proper mechanisms to make the window open vertical. It's just gonna slide. However, when installing it, it looks pretty, when you look at it, it looks the same all around, but you do not wanna install it upside down. I'll show you why. Because we have these little things called weep holes on them. So if we were to install them like that, which this window looks the same all around with the exception of our weep holes. If we were to install it with our weep holes, it'd leak. So the theory behind our weep holes is, if water gets in here or in the screen, the water is going to drain out of our weep holes. So you want to make sure your weep holes are installed going down. So we're also going to install window flashing. Every window has their own recommended way of flashing. In this case, we are going to use Zip Systems tape. What we're going to do is put it across the bottom of our window first, and we're going to put there, and then we're going to just cut that there. We made our tape go a little high. Now we're going to fold that in, and this is going to, if any water were to get behind this, this should protect the corner of our windowsill and hopefully shed it out down the edge of the wall. You don't want it to get under the flange and trapped in and go down the wall. So we put this down first, so if any water does get behind the sides, it's gonna run right off of that, all right? So now we're ready to put our window in. We're gonna take it. Looks nice, right? I got my weep holes down here. So, actually, one more thing I want to show you what I like to do. I like to, especially if it's just me, if you have someone helping, you can send someone inside to space out your window evenly. In this case, I can't exactly tell where the edges of my window are. So I'm just going to carry 2 lines down, and that's going to show me roughly where I should center my window. So if I have a equal distance roughly on each side, I know I'm pretty good. You don't want to put it tight up to one side. If you can, you want to have just a gap around the entire edge. That way you have plenty of room for insulation. So what I do first is I put my window in, and I'm going to put my level on it. So I'm going to find the high side. So my high side is on my right. So I'm going to take a roofing nail, and I'm going to nail it tight. Now, I'm going to take my level, and I'm going to lift it up until it's level. There it is. So I actually, because I got a level, I'm just going to draw a line on here so I know it's not going to move on me. Then I'm going to put as I continue to hold it up, I'm going to put my next nail in. It's kind of tricky. You want to be careful that you don't hit the flange. I mean the edge of the window trim and crack it. It's vinyl, so it's brittle. Next, we're going to put our level on it. We're going to check it for plumb. In this case, it's plumb. I'm going to tack it and I'm going to check it again. Perfect. Still good? All right, so it's plumb and it's level. Just before I continue on, I just want to double check one more thing. I'm going to check my window for square. So we're going to measure our diagonal measurements, remember. 35 1/16. Now if our next measurement is 35 1/16, we know we're good to nail it off. And it is. So let's nail it off. You always want to check your manufacturer's instructions onto a nailing pattern. In this case, they said fill every hole. So I'm going to nail it off, then I'll show you how we flash it. All right, so we're ready to flash it. We're going to continue using our zip tape. It's just a sticky, waterproof tape. When you put nails through it, it's going to self-seal around it. So I put my first piece under my flange. The reason I did this is because when I put my next piece over, if any water gets trapped in there, you don't want it to run it down into the bottom flange and then have it get stuck. You want it to be able to escape. So we're gonna take this one. Beautiful. And I'm just gonna take my utility knife and cut it. And then I'm gonna just go back over, seal it. And same there. Now I'm going to take that and cut it. So remember, everything is very important how you overlap it. We run our bottoms, then we run our sides over our bottom, then our top. Because the way we do it if water gets on the top, it's going to shed it down and on top of the sides rather than behind. And then the same thing for the bottom. So I'm going to trim it out real quick and we'll wrap up.